Hello, welcome back to the Random Recipe Project. Today we're in Praise of Home Cooking by Liana Krissoff, specifically her recipe for simple roasted tomato salsa. Myself, I love fresh salsa. There's not much better than discovering a Latin restaurant where before the meal they bring out freshly made salsas and a bowl of chips. I can just plow through those, no problem. We don't eat out a lot here, though, so that's kind of a rare treat. And for whatever reason, I don't make fresh salsa very much here at home. When I think of it, I think of tedious chopping, which I don't mind, but it's kind of a mental barrier for starting the salsa. Have to get the vegetables, have to cut them up into pieces, have to sometimes cook them, sometimes not. It's just mentally is a barrier to me enjoying something that I really like. This recipe claims that those barriers can go away if you just use a blender and the broiler. She says the beauty of the recipe is that there's only about 2 minutes worth of knife work, if that, and everything else just sort of comes together. Salsa is a general condiment, and anything I can do to have more of it around, I think, is going to be a good thing. So let's take a look at the ingredients and get started. Now, this recipe, she says, is customizable. The only adjustments that I've made is increasing the heat level a little bit. But once you get the feel for how to make this, you can add more of the vegetables you like, take out the things you don't like. This is a technique more than a specific recipe. As written, the recipe calls for 2 pounds of Roma tomatoes, about 6 to 8 cloves of garlic, 1 small onion, a lime, 2 serrano peppers, a little bit of cumin, some salt, and some olive oil. I have doubled the serrano peppers. You can use any other chili that you would like. If I had New Mexican green chili here, I would definitely use that. I almost used poblano, which I like the flavors of, but I'm going with her recipe for serranos and adding just a little bit more. The only knife work we need to do here is quarter and peel the onion and then halve the tomatoes. It should just take a minute, so I'm going to do it all in real time, see how that goes. First, I'm going to quarter the onion. Slice off the tips. And then quarter it long ways. And there we go. I can just slip the peels off. Easy peasy. And then the tomatoes get cut in half. Don't need to core them, don't need to cut the tips off, just cut them in half. And that's it. Knife work is done. Next, we take a baking tray and just put them all on here. I'm going to put the tomatoes cut side down. And the garlic, we don't need to peel, so I'm just going to put some cloves in there. Then we sprinkle with a little bit of olive oil. And finally, dust with some cumin. Now this is going to go into the broiler for about 15 minutes. Don't need to check on it. It's going to get some charring, and that's fine. Of course, if it starts smoking out the kitchen or anything, I'll take it out. It's been 15 minutes. I pulled them out. You can see the skins of pretty much everything has been blackened under the broiler. That's okay. We're going to take those off before they go into the blender. They'll just peel. They'll just lift right off. It'll be nice and easy. I don't want to burn my fingers now, though, so I'm going to let it sit here for a few minutes to cool off before we do that. I've let the vegetables sit for about 15 minutes. They're already cool enough to handle without any troubles. We'll pinch off the skins and throw the rest of the tomato right in the blender. I'll do the same thing for the onion. The garlic comes right out of its skin, so I can put that in there too. And finally, the peppers. We want to pull the stems off. I know I'm going to want it a little bit spicier, so I'm going to start with 2. And I've got 2 other little ones sitting here off to the side for later if I want. And then in the blender, we also put in a squeeze of lime and a teaspoon or teaspoon and a half of salt. Just turn on the blender and let it go until it's smooth, but just a little bit chunky. And that's it, super fast. I'm gonna give it a taste. Hold it up to the camera here. You can see it's pretty smooth. It's not exactly chunky, but it's not entirely blended, so it'll have a little bit of texture to it. That is so good. I'm gonna double dip the spoon. It's just me. Wow, okay. That is just spectacular. It's as good as any salsa I've had at a restaurant. It's better than any salsa that I've gotten from the grocery store. So here's a bowl of the fresh salsa. You can see there's like a range of colors. It's not all even in tone. The tomatoes are there, little bits of black from the charring. You can see a stray seed or 2 from the chilies, a little flecks of green also from the chili. The onion and the garlic sort of melt right in. It looks beautiful. We've got some blue corn tortilla chips. It's something that you can see more and more nowadays at the grocery store, but it was a pretty common thing when I lived in New Mexico to have the blue corn tortillas. So when I'm feeling a little nostalgic for those times, I'll grab a bag of those when I'm at the store. Just dip right in. It's spectacular. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. I could just eat scoop after scoop of that. And it took 0 knife skills, almost next to no time. Just to make sure my memory is not playing tricks on me, I did get some fresh salsa from the grocery store. This one was half price at the local store. It was still $3 for this little container. For the salsa I just made, I don't think I spent $3 on vegetables. The most expensive bit were the tomatoes. That cost $1.90. $3, maybe $4 tops. And it made, this is just not even half of the salsa that I made. Let's try the grocery store version. It is chunkier. The flavors are nice and bright. You know, I can taste the tomato, the green chilies are in there. I can't really taste the garlic or the onion on their own. I'm sure they're in there. I can see them, but they don't stand out as flavors so much. I would have said this morning it's a pretty good salsa. But now that I've made this, have it in my head how easy it is, how cheap it is, how fast it is. There's no reason why I can't have fresh salsa in the house anytime that I want. It can go on so many things that I'm ordinarily cooking anyway, just to give it that extra little burst of flavor, a little bit of heat. It's a great thing just to have in the refrigerator from now on, and I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. I love finding recipes like this, things that intellectually I know are possible, but I haven't done them. I don't have that experience behind me to help me get through the mental hurdles of doing something that I know should be easy, but my brain is telling me is hard and maybe not worth the effort. This is easy. It's totally worth the minimal effort and is a recipe that's going to be in my repertoire from here on out. Glad you could join me on this discovery. I hope you give it a try too. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, tell me how we're doing. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.